Phillies on top.
But this club just does not die.
He's under it. He's got it. And the game is over. Hoskins swung on, crushed, and the Phillies are going to lead it 4-0. Just a towering fly ball to straightaway left. Schwarber was ready. Bryce Harper has put the Phillies on top.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Phrankly Phils podcast here at the AAT Sports Network. As always, on Tuesdays, it is all about the Phillies here. We're coming to you live Tuesday morning, so grab some coffee, take a break from work. No one really works anymore, so take a break, grab some coffee. Let's talk some Fightin baseball. Usually we do the show a little bit later, but I'll be at the Iron Pigs game tonight reporting for the network, so we're coming to you live Tuesday morning, talk a little Fightin baseball. Before we start, gotta pay the bills a little bit real quick. I was told that Manscaped is giving us a trial again for a free promo. So hop on the Manscaped, use AT Sports promo code when you check out, get a little discount. And as Chip always says, your balls will thank you. All right, let's talk a little Fightin baseball. We took off last week. Feeling a little under the weather with work and everything. And the Phillies just make me sick at this point. So, I've been trying to support them for a long time, and we're really getting to the point where it's getting a little difficult. There's a lot of positives going on, but if you can tell by the title of this week's episode, I see one problem with this team right now is pitching, and we got to figure out how we're going to start the pitching. There's three options right now. Keep trying guys up in the major leagues, try someone internally in the farm system, or make a trade and bring a guy in. So let's talk a little Phillies baseball, talk about all three. If we keep someone currently on the club, look internally in our farm system, or some possible trades. But we're going to get right into it. So pitching is bad, but could it get worse? And I'm going to be just frankly honest. I don't think it could possibly get worse. I think our offense has really kept us into games. Our offense hasn't been electric as it was during the playoffs. And ultimately, I don't think we're ever going to see a team have that stretch of games where they're putting up, 7-8 runs for a week, but 3-week stretch period, especially in high-level baseball in the playoffs. That was just unbelievable baseball. So that's what the fans are expecting right now. We're expecting to have, insane stretch where we're pitching 10, having, what was that? 2 games in Atlanta, 2 games in St. Louis, 3 games in Atlanta, 5 games in San Diego, 6 games with Houston. We were that unbelievable stretch where we're just having huge offensive numbers. We were 10-run games, going down a few runs, but battling back with, a huge inning. We're not going to see a stretch like that from Phillies baseball or any team in baseball this season. We got to look at one game at a time right now. And so far, our hitting, in my opinion, has kept the Phillies in the game. I think the fielding needs some work. But the big issue I'm seeing with this club right now is the pitching. The pitching has been absolutely atrocious. From the starters up until the bullpen. The bullpen's had some good stretches. I think the bullpen's been a lot stronger than the starting pitching. But ultimately, the pitching from the starters all the way to the end of the bullpen, it's been absolutely atrocious. You have some really good games. Zach Wheeler the other night had an unbelievable game. What was that stat line like for him? Let's bring that up. Game logs. Yeah, against Atlanta, 8 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 12 strikeouts. To do that against one of the best teams in baseball, the NL East leading Atlanta Braves, absolutely solid performance. He's our ace right now. He's our best pitcher. Ultimately, you're not going to get that type of performance every week from him, every start from him, but to have play an outing like that against the Atlanta Braves, to take 2 of 4, in my opinion, from the Atlanta Braves was a huge win for us. But ultimately, look at the other parts of that, the starting rotation. Aaron Nola, ultimately, keep saying it. He's consistent at being inconsistent. We can see some great starts from him. Look at some of his recent starts. He's had some really decent starts. We've all seen him when he's hot, when he's good, he can be one of the best pitchers in baseball. He can be a top 15, top 10, potentially even top 5 pitcher in Major League Baseball when he's on. However, we don't know what we're getting out of him. The other 50, 60, 40% of the time, he's a huge hindrance for the team. He's given up 7, 8 runs in an outing, not being able to make it past the 4th inning, walking a lot of guys, giving guys up a lot of hits. We can go back to the opening day, 3 2/3, 4 hits, 5 earned runs, 4 strikeouts. But then he has outings like he did, where was it? Oh, Houston. 8 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts. We need more starts out of that from him, especially with this being a huge contract year for him. Well, I'm not comfortable giving out that $200 million contract to a guy that ultimately it's the flip of a coin what we're going to get out of him. Either he's going to be, lights out and we're going to be put in a great position to win, or our offense is going to have to play comeback the whole entire game. So ultimately, I don't think Nola's going to be worth that $200 million contract. I said earlier, Aaron Nola on a World Series caliber team, a team that wants to win a World Series, a team that wants to win a division, wants to win a pennant. He's your number 3 guy. You're not going to win a World Series if he is going to be your top option just because of how inconsistent he is. We saw it in the playoffs last year. He was absolutely incredible in St. Louis. He was absolutely incredible against Atlanta. He goes to San Diego, starts off pretty solid, but then, completely just tanked and ended up giving the Padres a huge lead. He was absolutely abysmal during the World Series in Houston. Fortunately, our bullpen just really stepped up in game 1 with that, and even in game 5, it wasn't that good. So the fact that people want to give him a $200 million contract, ultimately, I think is just, an awful move. I told you, got to get your coffee early, talk some Phillies baseball. Keep the energy up. Looking at the rest of the team, Ranger Suarez, he's just pitching pretty awful. Let's look at that. He's 0 for 1, 9.87 ERA, 13 strikeouts. He's appeared in 3 games. He got the no decision against Arizona in that comeback. I mean, that game, the offense really stepped up that game. To be put down 5 runs to score 6 unanswered, win the game in extras, shows you how resilient the offense is, shows you how really good the offense is. And I said earlier in the year, the offense started slow, but they're really starting to pick up pace right now. They obviously have some issues. The focus, they need to start hitting with runners in scoring position. But ultimately, Ranger Suarez did not put them in any position to compete in that game. 5 innings, 5 hits, 5 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. Pretty awful performance. He's only making his 3rd start. He got the no decision, but the Phillies won his first game on 5-13 at Colorado. 4 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 Ks. Not a great start for him either right there. And then against Chicago, 2 innings, 4 earned runs, 5 hits, 4 Ks. They got the loss and a 10-1 loss to the Cubs. Only lost that series during that series for the club. But ultimately, Ranger's not that guy right now. He needs to slowly get back into it, but ultimately, he doesn't look like a number 4 pitcher. So far we have, Wheeler's the only one that's been pitching well. Nola is just hit or miss right now. Ranger Suarez is just ultimately right now, he's a huge liability in my eyes for that rotation. Previously last year, I would think when Ranger Suarez was on the mound, if he was on, we were going to be put in a position to win. Now I need the chances are him being on versus him having these usual starts. He's 0 for 3 in my eyes. Really, he's got bailed out with 2 no decisions, but ultimately he's 0 for 3 on this year in my eyes right now. And then the last one, Taijuan Walker. Started off really, really rocky. I wasn't thrilled. Started off a bunch of no decisions. He's really come together in recent starts. Really, really come together. Against Atlanta, 6 2/3, 10 hits, 3 earned runs, only 1 strikeout, but ultimately got the win. Didn't strike out a lot of guys. ultimately, but didn't give up a lot of runs. Phillies offense, same thing, really stepped up, were put in a position to succeed. Only gave up 300 runs. That was a solid start in my opinion. 521 against the Cubs, no decision, but 5 and 1/3, 2 hits, no earned runs, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks. Same thing. Put the Phillies in a great position to win the ball game. The no earned runs is huge in my opinion. San Francisco, absolute abysmal performance. Couldn't even get out of the first. 4 earned runs, 4 hits, 1 strikeout. Against Colorado, 512, 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, no decision. But again, put the Phillies in a position to win the ball game. So Taijuan Walker, he doesn't have the great stats. He's not, striking out a lot of guys. He's giving up a lot of hits. He's giving up a decent amount of earned runs. But right now, the big thing is he's getting the job done. He's putting the Phillies in a position to win the game. And ultimately, that's what we need out of our pitchers. We need to be put in positions for our offense to win games. The offense isn't going to put up 9, 10 runs every game. That's just not going to be the thing. But all they really need is one more run than their opponent. And so far, the Phillies pitchers, Taijuan Walker has put the Phillies in recent starts at a point to win the ball game. Now that Giants game, starts like that are going to happen to everybody. Every single pitcher is going to have a stupid start like that. They just can't get settled in. Either the jet lag, the fans, some soreness. It could be a million things. They're going to have outings like that. I'm not too concerned with that outing, but looking at what Walker has done in recent starts, he's given up a lot of hits. He's given up a decent amount of earned runs, but so far, Walker's appeared in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 starts. 11 starts. The Phillies have won 7 of those 11 starts. That's the thing I really like. He's putting them in positions to win the games and hand it over to the bullpen. Ultimately, we can't expect our Philly starters to go 9 innings. I would love them to go 9 innings every single game. However, if they pitch 9 innings every single game, they'll be burned out by the World Series again, and we'll have a complete reenactment of last year's World Series where our pitching just completely lost gas. But what we need of our pitchers is they need to get to the fifth or sixth inning, maybe fourth, depending on how our bullpen is. Hand the ball over to the bullpen. We have a deep bullpen this year. Hand the ball over and really let this team, succeed. The offense is going to keep putting us in solid places to win. They're going to have games where they're cold. We're going to go up against an ace. Shit's going to happen. However, the fact that we've won 7 of the 11 games that Taijuan Walker has pitched really says a lot to you how much he's set the club up for success. And in those, losses that we've had, one of those losses, only 2 of those losses actually were his fault. The other were blown leads and got the no decision in those. So he really has pitched well this year. He's really been an underrated player, in my opinion. So keep that eye out for Walker. I really, everyone was harping on that contract that he didn't earn the contract. In my opinions right now, he's earned the contract. He really is pitching well. And in my opinion, he's done what he needs to do to put the Phillies in a spot to win. So I'm excited. I like Walker, but now it goes to the big issue with the Phillies rotation and the fact that we don't have a 5th starter. Right now, the Phillies are taking a loss every 5 games because we don't have a 5th starter, and our 5th starter is just simply it's not competing. We've tried every single person. Tried Andrew Bellotti. We've tried Connor Brogdon. We tried Dylan Covey recently. Ultimately, the Phillies rotation, we need to find the 5th starter. There's 3 options in my opinion. You can keep doing what we're doing, keep someone that's on the MLB club. There's one name, Matt Stram. We'll get a little bit into him in a second. You can call somebody up within the minor leagues. We'll get into a few different guys with there. Or then the last option I'm going to bring up, we make a trade this season. So let's talk about internal options. I think if you're going to look at players that are currently on the Phillies club, the MLB club, not in the minor leagues, there has to be only one name that we can discuss, and that's going to be Matt Stram. So once Ranger Suarez, Matt Stram, for people that aren't aware and don't follow the Phillies, for some reason, shame on you to begin with. But started the year off, signed by the Phillies to be a relief pitcher, but with then the injury to Ranger Suarez, and just not that clear winner from the fifth starter spot in spring training, Matt Stram won the job. He competed a little bit with Bailey Falter for that job, but ultimately Matt Stram won the job. Looking at his game logs, so let's see. Believe right around here. So he was 2-2 as a starter. Pretty, decently good starts. A bunch of no decisions that resulted in Phillies wins, which is really, really good. His first start won 4 innings against the Yankees, 1 hit, 3 Ks. He's a young arm. He's not a pitcher that's going to give you 7, 8 innings. That's just not who he is. But ultimately, for those starts, like I said with Taijuan Walker, he puts the Phillies in positions to win. Phillies won that game against the Yankees on April 4th, 4-1, because Matt Stram put them in a position to win. He went to take that Yankees lineup and only give up 1 hit to that really, really strong Yankees lineup. Really set the precedence for that team. It was really hard for the Yankees to overcome kind of that really bad stretch of innings right there. He puts the Phillies in a position to win. And then looking at his other starts, 4-15 against the Reds, awful start, but 4-10 against the Marlins. 4 hits, no earned runs, 6 strikeouts. And just that his first 3 starts of the game, he combined for 15 strikeouts in 3 games. He really has put on, I was looking at strikeouts. I really like what I've seen from him. He's now moved over to the bullpen. He has had 1 blown save. Phillies ended up still winning that game. He had a save against Boston. Ultimately, I think he's been a solid pitcher this year. He really has, even when he's a starter and when he's been a bullpen guy. So the Phillies want to keep a starter, find that 5th starter and keep it, not give any options, not give up any prospects. Matt Stram has to be the guy. But throwing out random guys as that 5th starter, ultimately, there's been one pitcher all the Phillies team that's been been consistent. That's been Matt Stram. He really has turned a lot of heads. I was really nervous when they first signed him, but so far Matt Stram has been the best pitcher on the Phillies. He's been consistent. He set the Phillies up in solid spots to succeed. And ultimately, I think Matt Stram gives the Phillies the best option to win games. So if Phillies want to keep the position internally, Matt Stram needs to be that guy. Dylan Covey is going to be a solid reliever, but as a starter, not the guy. Connor Brogdon, not a starter. Keep him in the bullpen. He's even struggled a little bit in there. But let's go to the minor leagues. Some guys that the Phillies could, call up. I'm going to bring up one guy, Noah Sakuro, if I pronounce that name correctly. He's in AAA with the Phillies. He's not on the Phillies 40-man roster. That is a little bit of a concern. They will need to make room for him. But ultimately, looking at the Phillies AAA rotation, it's not good. But Noah Sakuro has been the best option. He's been the best pitcher, starter reliever in AAA this year. Just looking at his stats, so he's 4-1 on the year, 5.82 ERA. I know people are going to look at that ERA and go, "Oh my God, that's absolutely insanity." For AAA ERA, that is really, really solid. People are forgetting in AAA, it's a hitter's game. It's not really great for pitchers, unless you are a true ace like Painter or Abel or McGarry is. We'll get into those 3 a little bit later, but a 5.82 ERA is really, really good, especially for the International League at AAA. They have a lot of really, really good hitters at the Iron Pigs at face. So he's still 4-1. Ultimately, I don't really care what that ERA is as long as it results to wins. And the Phillies offense is a solid offense. They have really great hitters. They have good contact hitters. So even if he gives up runs, as long as he puts the Phillies in a position to win, we've seen it with Taijuan Walker, Matt Stram. Doesn't matter how many earned runs you give up. as long as you put the team in a position to win. So far, Sakura has done that. 31 strikeouts, 15 walks. Usually goes about 5-6 innings in his outings. He's going to be my guy right now. If we got to call someone up right now, no, Sakura is going to be my guy. I know some people have talked about Michael Plasmeyer a little bit. Ultimately, he's a liability. He should be, I think, in my opinion, sent down to Double-A in favor of McAble. But right now, no, Sakura is going to be my guy. Another option is going to be Christopher Sanchez. So a little bit about Sanchez. He was in competing for that 5th starter spot throughout spring training. He got hurt, some arm tightness. No surgery was needed, but was shut down for a while. Started off in rehab assignments in low A, went up to high A, double A. Now he's up back in triple A. Hasn't got that call up to the majors yet. Was on the Phillies a little bit last year. Solid bullpen guy, but he really has been really good in triple A this past year. He started off really rocky. I'm not going to lie. Some rocky starts, kind of like the Phillies. He was really struggling to pitch out of jams. I saw him once. He was, I won't say perfect through 3 innings, but no earned runs, maybe a hit or two through 4 innings. He gave up like a couple hits, no walks, was striking out guys left and right. And then he got to the 5th inning and, he walked a guy, put them in. It was just downhill from there. He couldn't work out of the jam, loaded the bases on a couple hits and a couple walks. Next thing you know, it was a grand slam. Next batter up, a solo shot. And in the blink of an eye, he went from an unbelievable outing to a 5-run deficit for the Iron Pigs. All right. So one thing I'm seeing with this team, so no Sakura is going to be my guy, but Christopher Sanchez in his last 2 weeks, he has 2 games. So he had 2 wins, 11 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts, 8 hits, 3 earned runs. Since the Phillies are literally trying every human being out for that 5th starter spot, Christopher Sanchez could be a viable option. Seeing that Skuro not on the 40-man roster and Sanchez is probably going to be my bet to be called up next, simply because he's on the 40-man roster. He has familiarity with the team. He was on the team, bouncing back and forth between AAA and the majors last year. So I'm excited for that. I think Sanchez is probably going to be the guy. He's earned that opportunity right now in AAA, especially the last 2 outings. But right now, we need to figure out that 5th starter. Matt Stram. So far I've pitched 3 names. Matt Stram, Noah Sakura, and Christopher Sanchez are going to be the 3 guys. Now, there are some other guys I want to talk about that I've seen a lot of tweets about, a lot of comments and Facebook groups about, and that's Phillies' top 3 prospects: Andrew Painter, Mick Abel, and Griff McGarry. Andrew Painter right now is still shut down, still rehabbing. They shut him down after spring training because of some UCL tightness, no surgery, but they're working back to getting him in the rotation. Philly fans, I know you want. He's been really. He's been dominant in low A. He's been dominant in high A. He's been dominant in double A. People were ready to call him up right away. He's yet to pitch this year. He didn't look that great in spring training. It was his first time in big league camp this year, but I still don't think he's ready. And I really don't think, he's young and everyone's thinking he's going to have a 20-year career and all this other craziness. We got to be patient with him. We really do. He has the potential to be an MLB ace and one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's still 19. He can't even legally drink. I can't even go to the bar and have a brewski with him. So we really, really got to focus on, being patient with him. He's not ready. Ultimately, when he comes back and he's ready to pitch, he's going to start off in double A. And ultimately, by the end of 2023, he's going to be probably in triple A still. He's not calling up to the majors this year. We really need to look to next year for him. So Andrew Painter, I'm sorry, he's not going to pitch for the Phillies in 2023. The expectation from coaches I've heard with the Iron Pigs is he's gonna play in double A when he comes back. See how he does. If he continues to pitch very, very well, they'll promote him to AAA. And then that's probably where he's going to stay for the remainder of 2023. Now, looking ahead to next year, if everything goes according to plan. More than he might start the year off in 2023 next year. He might just get the promotion right to the MLB. It just all kind of depends on how he does from here on out, how the rehab goes. But don't expect to see Andrew Painter on in a Phillies uniform this year. You'll see him with AA Reading or AAA Lehigh Valley. Now, Mick Abel is another guy who I think we'll probably see in the MLB before Andrew Painter. Abel has just been dominant in AA. He's like 4-2, striking out a lot of guys. He's unhittable. He really looks like an MLB ace right now. And everyone's been talking how great Painter is. I think Mick Abel is better than Andrew Painter, in my opinion. He's been absolutely dominant. He's kind of lived in Painter's shadow a little bit. But with Painter going down, Abel's been done a really, really good job of showing you why, he's one of the top prospects, not just in the Phillies organization, but all of baseball. So I really like what I've seen from Abel. I expect a promotion to AAA for him very, very soon. AAA, like I said, the AAA starters have not done well. So I like to see a promotion for Mick Abel soon. And then the final one is Griff McGarry. He started the season off hurt, just undisclosed injury. Did a couple rehab starts, but now he's got back to AA, done really, really well. Kind of like Abel. I think he's a step below Abel right now. Abel should have that leg up on him. So I expect Abel to get, the promotion first. But if they have room for two promotions like that, McGarry is going to be your guy. But ultimately, I don't think either of them are. I would love to see both of them. I want to see what they do in AAA first. And I don't want them to go from AA right to the majors. I think that's just going to really mess up their development. We're really going to set them up for failure in that sense. So, I think we need to move them up to AAA, let them kind of get comfortable there, see how they do. I think they're going to, have some possible learning curves a little bit at that next level, but make sure they're comfortable in AAA. And then once they're ready, call them up to the MLB. If that's this year, or unfortunately, we got to wait till next year. We're going to win a World Series. That's the goal for this team. We want to make it back to the postseason. We want to avenge last year's loss. They're the top 3 prospects in our organization, but ultimately they're not going to win us a World Series. They're not ready. We're begging for 3 guys in AA to come save our season to win a World Series. It's a ludicrous an idea, in my opinion. Yes, they have dominated AA. They are the 3 best players in our organization right now. Eventually, they're going to be 3 great pitchers for the Phillies. They're going to be everyday guys. They're going to really complete our rotation. But right now, they are not going to win us a World Series. They are 3 guys in AAA that are all 3 under the age of 22. I would love for them to go to the MLB and dominate. But right now, they are not going to do that for us. So right now, Philly fans really, really understand this. We're not going to win them. They're not going to win us a World Series this year. They're going to be minor league baseball players this year. But 2024, that's when you need to keep an eye out for those 3 guys and really understand that they are the future. But right now, this team has one thing on their mind, and that's to avenge a World Series defeat. And 3 guys in AA are not going to do that. Let's get back to the coffee. All right. So we talked about internal players. That's going to be Matt Stram. Minor league guys, Christopher Sanchez, Noah Sakura. Bailey Falter. He's done really, really well since being optioned down to AAA. So is Andrew Bellotti. Andrew Bellotti, I think, we're going to see like a Jose Alvarado situation. I didn't even think he deserved to be sent down, but he's been perfect since being sent down to AAA. I really liked Andrew Bellotti to begin with. I think he's going to be Alvarado in the 9th inning, Bellotti in the 8th inning. That 1-2 punch is going to be incredible. And I really think, Bellotti is going to have this being sent down is going to have a really good effect on him. First game, he appeared literally unhittable, 3 strikeouts. I think he was like 2 pitches away from an immaculate inning, but really, really like what he's done. And I think once he returns, that bullpen's really going to come together with Alvarado, who's had a little bit of a setback in his recovery, but not concerned there. Alvarado, Bellotti, Jeff Hoffman has been incredible. 0.94 ERA, absolutely stellar performance out of him. I was really surprised. I was nervous when he first got called up, but ultimately he's been, just a great addition to that rotation. Craig Kimbrell has, shown glimpses that, he can get the job done. Yes, he gives up a run or two in his, when he gets a save, but the ultimate thing is, I don't care how you get it done. You get the job done. Craig Kimbrell has got the job done. Special shout out, man. 400 career saves. Come on, man. That's just absolutely, it's just incredible feat for him. Fact that he was able to do it in a Phillies uniform. He's a Hall of Famer. If you say anything else about it, he's a Hall of Famer. He has the accolades. He has the success. Craig Kimbrell is a Hall of Famer. It's great that we have another Hall of Famer on the Phillies team. So shout out to him. I'm excited to see what he's done. Gregory Soto, hit or miss in my opinion, but Bellotti's been really, really good. I think really have that back end bullpen of Alvarado, Kimbrell, Bellotti, Hoffman, really, really good. Then you sprinkle in Gregory Soto. Hopefully he can get kind of his act together. Connor Brogdon's been kind of hit or miss. And then missing the big one, Sir Anthony Dominguez. Started up pretty rocky. He's managed to get his act together. So I really like that kind of bullpen. But possibly even Bailey Falter. He's done really well in AAA since being sent down. I think he'll have probably an extended time down in AAA compared to Bellotti. But, come, August, September when, the roster expands, I think, Falter would be that guy to be called up. And I really think we'll see a better pitcher. He needs to stay in the bullpen. He's not a starter. Ultimately, he's going to give you 1 or 2 innings out of starts, and that's kind of what we need out of a bullpen. So curious what they do with that. But, for right now, I like the Phillies bullpen, and I'm excited to see the Phillies bullpen. For years, we've had historically shitty ass bullpens. We finally have a really good bullpen. I'm excited to see what we can do with it. All right. External options for the Phillies pitching rotation. We're going to go 1 of 2 ways with this. We can go be aggressive at the trade deadline this year. And I'm going to get into next year's free agent class and kind of hypothetical situation I've been seeing. But a couple pitchers I want to talk about that I think could be trade options. First one is Milwaukee Brewers pitcher, former Cy Young winner Corbin Burns. The Brewers and Burns failed on arbitration negotiations. And I think he could be a surprise candidate at the trade deadline. It probably is going to cost a little bit more. I hate to say it, McGarry might be trade bait in that. But the thing about Burns is he's one of the game's best pitchers, would do a huge boost to the starting rotation, and he's under contract in 2024. So it wouldn't be just a rental for a couple months if we gave up McGarry. We would get all of 2023 with him, and we get all of 2024 with him. So that might be a really good move. I would hate to lose out on McGarry, but if we can still have Burns for another year to pair with Zach Wheeler, Taijuan Walker, make Abel maybe, I really think that would do a big boost to that rotation. So, Corbin Burns is a name I think to keep an eye out at this year's deadline. And, if we can get him for the right price, would be a really good pickup for the Phillies. German Marquez for the Colorado Rockies. Rockies, man, they're going to be huge sellers at the deadline. They're a bad baseball team right now. They're going to be huge sellers. Marquez, I think, is a good pickup. He's not going to cost as much as Corbin Burns is going to cost, so could be a big pickup right there for him. Some other guys, I had some David Bednar for the Pirates. I don't think they're going to be as much of sellers this year as I expected. Brad Keller for the Royals is an option. Alexis Diaz. There's another one on my list. Where is it? Oh, Sonny Gray for the Twins. Twins have really just been a huge disappointment. I think they're going to be sellers. I really, really believe they're going to be sellers at the deadline this year. Sonny Gray's not, he's not what he used to be. He's not going to be an ace caliber player anymore. But for the 5th starter spot, he's going to give us 4 or 5 innings. He's, like I keep saying, he's going to put us positions to win baseball games right now. So I think that's another option. See who else I can see. We don't really need any crazy relievers. So it sucks because the trade candidates aren't great this year. They're nothing spectacular. The obviously big one, Shohei Ohtani, is gonna be a one, but we'll get into that little rumor shortly. But right now, I think looking at the options, Corbin Burnes from the Brewers, that's going to be my best bet. If we can get him at the right price and not give up a huge haul, I would absolutely love that pickup, mostly because it wouldn't be a rental. It wouldn't be a half a season rental. We would get all of 2023 and all of 2024 if we were to pick up Corbin Burnes. I really like that option for the Phillies. Not even as a fifth starter, move him up higher, move Ranger to that fifth starter spot, have a rotation of Wheeler, Nola, Taijuan Walker, Corbin Burnes, Ranger Suarez, I think would really do wonders for that rotation. And then you can keep Matt Strahm in the bullpen, or if a guy goes down, Matt Strahm could step up. But if they don't pick up anybody, Matt Strahm needs to be that guy. If they don't want to promote anybody, if they don't want to trade anybody, he's earned that opportunity. He's going to put the Phillies in a success place to win. Just have that game plan. Make sure everyone knows their roles during his outings. The goal is to get him to the fifth inning. Once you get to the fifth inning, you hand the ball over to this guy and then to this guy. So I think if everyone knows their role, I really think Matt Strahm is that guy. Then looking at the rest of the roster, I think, some guys in AAA. If it's looking at guys in AAA, it has to be Christopher Sanchez or Noah Sakura. My opinion, Sanchez probably has that leg up, simply because he's spent time already with the Phillies and he's on the 40-man roster. And I don't know if Dombrowski is willing to mess around with the 40-man roster to take a chance on Noah Sakura. So probably Christopher Sanchez is my next bet for that call-up. Could probably looking at if they got to send somebody down, Andrew Vasquez or Connor Brogdon will probably be that move. So curious to see what they do there, but right now, keep an eye out for Christopher Sanchez. Is probably going to be the next move. All right. We're going to talk about a rumor I saw. I'm not sure how true it is, but, the biggest free agent this year, Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani to the Philadelphia Phillies this offseason. Let's be real here. It's not going to happen. It's just not. Every team, big market team, every team that's trying to win a World Series that's going to be in contention next year are going to have their eyes on Ohtani. He's a generational player, best player in baseball right now. Obviously, don't get me wrong. I would love to have Ohtani on the Phillies. I would pay him whatever he would need to be paid. He's a generational player. We haven't seen a player like them, honestly, since like Babe Ruth. Just this hybrid player of a pitcher and a hitter as well as he does. But ultimately, the Phillies, I don't think they should pay him. I don't really care about the luxury tax at this point. Pay him whatever he wants. He deserves it. But every team's going to be focused on him. And the Phillies, I think, have a really good opportunity, if they don't focus on Ohtani, to go get some other really solid pitchers. So looking at, if I can bring up starting pitchers in next year's free agent class, I'm just going to go through some names. Max Scherzer, Marcus Stroman, Clayton Kershaw, Hyun-Jin Ryu, Charlie Morton, Martin Perez, Lance Lynn, Eduardo Rodriguez, Julio Urias, Kyle Hendricks, Noah Syndergaard, Alex Wood, Zach Greinke, Mike Clevenger, Carlos Carrasco, Blake Snell, Luis Severino. A lot of really big name guys on the market would be huge upgrades to the Phillies rotation. I really think with all these teams, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Red Sox, the Mets, the Padres, the Giants, the Mariners, all these teams are going to have their sole focus on Shohei Ohtani, doing whatever they need to do to get him. I really think the Phillies could probably go get some of these other pitchers I just named at a much cheaper option. They want to get their contracts. They want to get signed. They want to get to work. If all these teams are focused on Ohtani, the Phillies have a really good opportunity to swoop in and get some of these underrated pitchers out from underneath of them. Now, don't get me wrong. I still think we'll love Ohtani, but right now I think we have to look, getting more rather than one. We have an opportunity to get, I think, 3 or 4 guys, not maybe 2 or 3 guys, for a quarter of the price of what Ohtani is about to go for. And I really think, that should be the move for the Phillies. we're not going to get, sign him to a 5-year, $200 million contract, but, to get guys on 2-year, 3-year deals with some options in there to really make a move and, fill out that back end of the rotation. So with Nola being a free agent this year, we have openings on the, guess what, 2 spots on the rotation. So, go get a guy like, Blake Snell, go get a guy like Marcus Stroman, Martin Perez, Julio Urias, like guys like that, young guys have a lot of, still some of the best pitchers in baseball, but right now they're in a free agent class with Shohei Ohtani. And, in any other year, Marcus Stroman would have been the biggest name on the market. But with Shohei being on the market right now, many people aren't going to be talking about Marcus Stroman right now. You probably didn't even realize Marcus Stroman was a free agent this year. So I really like the guy, go out and get a guy like that. Go get Julio Urias, whatever you pronounce his name, from the Dodgers. I think it'd be a really good move for the Phillies. Really go get these guys, probably get them for a little bit cheaper, honestly. So could be a really good move. But hey, if the stars align, Ohtani for some reason says he loves Bryce Harper, wants to play with Bryce Harper, and he wants to come to the Phillies, I will open it with giant arms. I will not complain at all, and I'll go out and buy an Ohtani jersey the day he signs his contract. So I'm excited for that, but Shohei Ohtani to the Phillies, it's as big. It's a rumor, nothing else. But that's sadly all I got for him. But we're gonna close the show. Another rendition of the Max Minor report. A couple of things. I talked a lot about the 3 pitchers, Abel, Painter, and McGarry. Won't get much into them. Like I keep saying, man, they're 3 guys in AA. They're not going to win us a World Series this year. Look at more ahead to 2024 and their future. They are the future of this team. They are not the current state of the Phillies. But AAA, man, I want to talk about the top 4 of that AAA lineup with the Pigs. You got Jake Cave, who was sent down to AAA last May 4th for Bryce Harper. He's going to be called back up to the Phillies, man. He's hit in every single game since May 4th. He was International League Player of the Week last week. Huge hits, really good defensive plays. He's also won the leader of that team. Everyone looks to him in the dugout, on the field. I really like what he's done. I'm not thrilled with guys like Josh Harrison, what he's done. So curious what they do. I think Cave's earned that opportunity. Looking at some other guys, Phillies 10th rated prospect Simone Muzziotti. He's taken kind of a back seat to Drew Ellis and to Jake Cave, but he's still really, really good. He plays with a lot of confidence. That's what I like most about him. What I notice the most when I see him play, he steps up to the plate with a lot of confidence. He's out in the field with a lot of confidence. He makes good throws, has good hits. Hate to say he might be a trade piece, but I like to see him play out just a little bit more. Drew Ellis, he was called up from AA a couple weeks ago, and he stepped up, and now he looks amazing. I think he's probably the next call up for the Phillies. Move on from Josh Harrison, move him up. So I like that. And then Weston Wilson, Sports Center top 10 plays the other day for an incredible diving catch. So that top 4 of that Iron Pigs lineup between Jake Cave, Drew Ellis, Simone Muzziotti, and Weston Wilson have just been unbelievable. Phillies also announced that two Phillies are going to be starting to make rehab starts. Christian Pache and Derek Hall both will begin rehab starts with Clearwater at the low A level. Excited to see how they play out. Both Pache, I remember, was brought in as a defensive guy, had no hitting ability, but then a week into the season, he turned out to be one of the most reliable hitters for the Phillies. Obviously, going down with an injury sucks and it really hurt the team, but I'm really excited to see what he can do. And my guess is, once Pache's ready to go, he's going to go right back up to the MLB after some rehab starts. So, keep an eye on that. They're starting with the Clearwater. They're both starting their rehab assignments tomorrow in Clearwater. So I'm excited to see that. We've been missing Derek Hall's big bat. Honestly, the way Cody Clemens is playing, Derek Hall might not even make it back to the team. Cody Clemens has kind of come around as a really good defensive first baseman. And even with Harper rumored to be playing first base post All-Star game. So keep an eye out for that. Some other stuff going around in AAA or in the minors. Caleb Ricketts, if you follow me, you know I'm a huge fan of him. He was in low A with the Clearwater Threshers. Unbelievable hitter. Was batting like 420 or something. Big hits, big home runs. Defensively was a really, really good catcher. Was throwing out close to 50% of the runners, which is just unheard of in baseball. So he got promoted to high A. Really took a step down, not hitting the ball as well. Only 3 guys have attempted to steal on him. All 3 were successful. So, he's really kind of come back to level since being promoted. He's still 3 or 4 years away from probably being ready, which is 3 to 4 years away from when we start to phase JT out as the catcher. So keep an eye on him. Orion Kirkering is another guy that got promoted alongside Caleb Ricketts. He was literally unhittable in low A this year. 9 innings, 0 hits, no earned runs, boatload of strikeouts. Got promoted. His first outing was really rough. Anytime you get promoted like that for a young guy, it was going to be tough for him. But now has continued to be a dominant pitcher, essentially unhittable, striking out a lot of guys, pitching out of jams. So watching a little bit of tape out of him. He has such good command of the plate, good velocity. I really think if you got a giant wall, put a little dot, he could throw that ball in one shot and hit that target. I really like what he's done. He has 3 guys ahead of him in AA that are better big name guys. He is a relief pitcher, which is nice to see. So I'm curious to see what they do with him, but nothing really crazy going on down the minors. I'll be at the Iron Pig games tonight, so if you are there, say hi. But I'm excited to see that. But Philly's got a lot of issues. But one big issue still, that's obviously the pitching. I've set out who their options are. So we'll see what they go from there. But thank you guys obviously for joining along on this lovely Tuesday morning. As always on Tuesdays, it is all about the Phillies here at the AAT Sports Network. Make sure you like, subscribe, share to myself as well as the network on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all that fun stuff. Make sure you watch all the lovely shows we have Mondays. Obviously, we got the soccer, the lads. Wednesday got the Eagles with Johnny and Kendall, and then all the other great stuff, all the great content we have. But as always, I'm your host, Adam Mack. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us for another great episode of Phrankly Phils. We will see you all next week, and let's ring.